Hi YouTube. I wanted to do a quick review of this Aldi Ferrex multi-head drill. Um, when it comes to delivered, it's got the normal drill attachment uh, attached to the head, attached to the body, and as a drill, it's an okay drill. It's no better, no worse than uh, any of the other drills you get in Aldi. I've used it primarily only for woodwork, for driving or drilling holes in wood, and it did the job. It's a good drill. Um, but I think the party trick, the reason why you pay £60 for the setup, is that it comes with other attachments, with 4 other attachments, and the one which I've used the most is the impact driver, because I didn't have an impact driver before. Um, since using this, I've bought a separate impact driver. They were in Aldi. They were £25 body only, so I bought one. But I really loved using this as an impact driver. And then I think everybody already has an electric drill or has 2 electric drills, and having a third drill stroke impact driver is useful. Um, as as a drill on its own, it's probably not the best. You probably want to buy a dedicated drill. The primary reason is it comes with one battery, and you need more than one battery if you're going to be drilling all day. But if you've got 3 different drills, one for drilling, one for doing the countersinking, and then one for putting the screws in, impact driver for putting the screws in, then it's like a perfect addition to the drills that you already have. And then it has a sander. I've not used the sander. I've got a separate electric sander, so I've never had the need to use this. Will I use it in the future? I don't think so. I think I have other sanders, and they do the job perfectly. But the 2 tools which I have been using, which I don't have other counterparts of, one is the vibrating multi-tool. I have to say, this is such an amazing tool. It's probably not as amazing as a dedicated one, but I've never used a dedicated one, so I can't comment on that. But for just nibbling out, for example, if you've got you want to put a sink in, or you're changing one sink to another sink in your house, and the aperture needs to be made slightly bigger, just for nibbling the edge away, this is just perfect. The other thing I used it for was I'll show you over here. So the other thing I used the vibrating multi-tool for was taking the inner skin out of this JCB box. So I found this JCB box. Well, it was next door. My uncle lives next door, and he was throwing it out. It used to have a angle grinder in it. Angle grinder burnt out years ago and was thrown away. So it was surplus to requirement, and he was throwing it out. And my little brother lent me some tools. So I just took it for putting his tools in. The only problem was it had an inner skin inside, which has the molding for the angle grinder. So I wanted to nibble that inner skin out. And this multi-tool, even though in some places it's a messy job and I should have maybe sanded it down, but it made very short work of taking this inner skin out. So if you've got little lockdown projects like repurposing these old boxes, then I think the multi-tool, the vibrating multi-tool is quite ideal for this. And then other than the vibrating multi-tool, the other tool which I've been using quite a lot is a reciprocating saw. I don't own another reciprocating saw, so it kind of, this has been my reciprocating saw for the last few weeks, and I've been using it for reclaiming pallets. So I think people who've tried to take pallets apart, you would know that it's really hard to they have these wire nails which have like a screw pattern on them, and when you try and take them apart, the pallet wood just breaks apart. So a good way of taking the pallets apart is you get a cheap chisel. This is a Aldi Works on chisel from a few years ago, um, and you bang in between where two pieces of wood are joined, and you bang in between, and that creates a little bit of a gap, and that gap is big enough to get the reciprocating saw in. Once you get the reciprocating saw in, you use that for sawing off the nails, and then what you have the nail in the wood, and with a punch you just push that through, and it comes out. Um, and if this is your only saw, if this is your only reciprocating saw, it it does the job, although it does take a little bit of time. And the biggest use of time uh, isn't actually doing the work. It isn't that it's like a slow machine. It actually gets through the job at a decent pace. The biggest use of time is that you have to keep charging the battery in between. So if you want to use this for separating pallets, the biggest issue is how long the battery lasts. So you cut through so many nails, and then the battery's flat, and you have to recharge it. Um, so in conclusion, if you want a tool that you're going to use occasionally, um, as or use mainly as a drill and an impact driver, and then occasionally, you want to nibble out a bit of counter to put a sink or a cooker or something like that in, or you want to do a bit of nibbling work on other projects, um, and then you want to cut the occasional, like screw break head breaks off, and you have to cut the screw off, and you're only going to do that ever once in a while. Then it's a good tool. But as a tool that you can use all the time, for example, if you're going to use a reciprocating saw to reclaim wood from 10 pallets, then you really need to buy a dedicated reciprocating saw, with which you can buy multiple batteries. I think on the 15th there's going to be one available in Lidl. And the good thing about this tool is I've never really used a reciprocating saw before, and now I've been using it to reclaim the pallet wood. I actually want to buy a reciprocating saw. And I saw that they're going to be in Aldi, in Lidl, from the middle of June, from the middle of June 15th. So I think I'm going to get myself one of those. But I will still carry on using this as either a drill or an impact driver, or have it with the impact driver head on, and have a countersink bit in. As an additional drill, it's good. So I think I'm going to be using it for that. It does. I don't know if you can see it. It does come with a few bits, so a few drill bits and a drill bit holder. Screwdriver bits and screwdriver bit holder, and some drill bits. I've not used those. I've got plenty of drill bits, so I can't really comment on those. It is good to have another holder, because my holders seem to get when using an impact driver, they seem to get the whatever I'm, whether it's like a Allen key bit or whatever, they seem to get stuck in there when you use it as an impact driver, because I don't know, I think the metals aren't as good, are a bit soft, and they kind of go around and get stuck. So yeah, there's that. Kind of mixed feelings about this drill. Um, on one end, I'm thinking, as a drill or an impact driver with a battery for £60, battery and charger, it's it's a good product. Um, Only because then you have additional few tools for doing the occasional bit of work for. So you mainly use it as a drill, and then if you've got one screw to cut, or uh, you know uh, something to nibble, then it's perfect. the one thing which I'm not loving is the fact that it's only got one battery, and if you're going to do something using the reciprocating saw in particular, if you're going to do a larger job, um, it the battery doesn't last. So um, as a drill with extras, I would say it's worth it. And it's also made me realize that I actually do want a reciprocating saw. Um, and the nibbler has come in useful. So or not, sorry, not nibbler, sorry, the vibrating multi-tool has come in useful as well.